What kind of artist are you? Sometimes when we ask ourselves that question, it sounds like this. What kind of artist am I? Am I really an artist? Maybe I'm just a creative type of person. Or maybe I have to pick just one thing. And if I don't pick just one thing, then I can't be a real artist or creator or creative. Welcome back to the channel. It's Sam from thesamanthawild.com. I am so happy that you're here with me. Thank you to my subscribers, new and old. Don't forget, before you check out from this video, give it a thumbs up. That's a nice way to say thank you to your content creators. And subscribe. Hit that red subscribe button. That means the world to me and other folks like me who are making videos. This is a place where you're going to find me chattering on and sharing as a sustainable art weaver, but also as a multi-passionate, multi-vocational human being. As someone who is a creator, very creative, mentors people creatively. I'm also an ordained minister and a 25-year yoga teacher, not to mention the mother of 6 kids. So if you'd like to head over to the shop, this is one of the pieces in the shop. This is from Upcycled Textiles. I'm actually loving this. Very simple made scarf from pieces of an old tapestry, and it looks perfect, I think, with this jumper, which was given to me by a friend. So feeling very happy in that, and happy to be with all of you on this beautiful Friday. Oh my gosh, we have just hot, humid. And then the past couple of days have been absolutely perfect. Now, I don't know why my past couple of videos haven't had as many watches, like by a lot. So I'm hoping that this one will be interesting to all of you. I did a video about my new goats, my fiber goats, starting a little fiber farm here. As a sustainable weaver and creator, it's very interesting to me where things come from. So it's very cool when you know that they come from your own goats and bunnies. So let's get back to the main question, which is, what kind of artist are you? And asking ourselves the question, what kind of artist am I? Well, I finished this piece this past week. This is in my Nantucket Blues series, and this was very powerful weave for me. It was like, all of my work is intuitive, but this one in particular was like receiving dictation. I just sort of sat and was listening while I was weaving. It was very powerful. And after I finished it, I thought of a story that I am going to be sharing also on my Substack. If you're one of my readers there, you'll say, wait, I kind of know this story. But I want to tell you that many years ago, when I was married to my first husband, my brother-in-law sent me a Canon digital camera. And I got very excited. It was his old camera, but like the whole thing. I had never had a digital camera. I had used a Pentax K1000. Anybody who knows ancient photography will know that. I used to go in the darkroom and develop the photographs. So when my brother-in-law sent this to me, I got very excited, started taking photographs again, learning a little bit about the camera. And then I had this great inspiration that I was going to take photographs and turn them into greeting cards. And I told my then husband what I wanted to do. And he said to me,
"What happens when you fail?" And notice I said when, not if.
Well, that was obviously a very upsetting moment for me, and very significant, because I've gone on to think about it quite a lot. And the truth is, I pretty much agreed with him, because in my mind, I wasn't really much of an artist anyway. In fact, I wasn't an artist at all. But let me tell you something. I actually did years of photography, and I entered college. I went to Wellesley College as a fine arts major. So how did I end up, a decade, 15 years down the line, thinking that I wasn't in any way an artist? One thing about our current culture is that specialize is the focus of everything. Well, I am not a specializer. I am much more of a generalist. In my life, as I said at the beginning, I've been ordained as a minister. I've been certified and taught as a yoga teacher. I've published 2 novels, women's fiction. So not even like nonfiction about yoga or spirituality. I've published women's fiction, and I've served in different churches and different faith settings, and I've acted. I'm not a singer, I could definitely say that. And what I'm doing now is a very different form of fine art than when I was doing photography. And when I think to myself, oh, well, I never really was an artist, it's interesting, because all throughout high school when I was doing photography, I also was writing, and I also was acting, and I also was dancing. So I was very much an artist. I was a performing artist as well as being a visual artist. And here I am today making a little bit of art. Nobody needs to know the kind of artist they are in order to be an artist. And that means you don't need to know the kind of artist you are, and I don't need to know the kind of artist. We don't need to know our medium, and other people might tell you differently. But actually, and I feel like one of the gifts of this piece, I have many gifts in weaving this piece, but one of the gifts is really that experience of very powerfully receiving dictation. That's exactly what it felt like. And it's true, I'm an intuitive weaver, so I'm always doing that. But having that sense of receiving it is to detach from the outcome. In other words, whether I'm taking a photograph or I'm weaving, whether I'm weaving a tapestry or I'm creating a shawl or I'm creating a scarf or I'm writing something, it's the same artist self expressing. It's the same creative self expressing. We don't have to have one medium. Most people don't have one medium. Most people don't have one skill or simply one gift, and then they just do it like you're a brain surgeon. I think being an artist by its very nature means you have a way of observing and being present and noticing, and then you translate that into any different kinds of forms that are available to you. So if you're struggling with the sense of, am I an artist, or I need to pick what I'm creating, you can just lovingly open and expand your mind and your consciousness and become that kind of a person taking dictation. You're a wonderful secretary for the universe, a wonderful secretary for bringing art and beauty into the world. Create a different form. You know, one thing I love about Saori weaving, which is the weaving I practice in, the beautiful tradition, is that it's not about recreating something that already exists. That's really important, because there are kinds of art and there are kinds of weaving where you are weaving in a tradition and you're trying to recreate or weave in the exact same way that people have been weaving for 100 years. Here, the invitation is make something that's never been made before. Why not invent your own art form? Why not bring the genres together? Not to always be talking about America's Got Talent, which I've mentioned that I've been watching with my 10-year-old, but I am going to talk about America's Got Talent for a minute. One of the things I heard on it the other night, and this is not an up-to-date show because I'm kind of behind on watching it, but one of the things I heard was talking about how singers are creating new genres by being sort of pop, R&B, country all at the same time. And that can be true for artists. So are you an artist? What kind of artist are you? Was enough simply to be the artist and to notice and be listening for and allow the expression of what wants to come through us to come through us. I think that way of being open is very powerful, and I think that way of being open is very healing. And if we're stuck in a rut, it can help free us from the rut. But if we've already set limitations before we even begun, a lot of people are like, well, I have writer's block. I can't even write anything. Well, you don't really have writer's block. What you probably have is a lot of judgment in the way and a lot of sense of what you think you're supposed to do or what it's supposed to look like or how it's supposed to come out of you. But if you are a secretary and all you're doing is receiving dictation, it doesn't matter what your personal agenda is. You're just going to sit down, you're going to listen, and you're writing what you hear. And this is how I think of that direct line with intuitive creativity. That direct line, you are just sitting and listening. Your agenda is out there. You are an artist. I am an artist. And if we focus on that, instead of like, what kind of artist am I, or what kind of medium, or what kind of form, we actually might be able to not just produce more, as if that was the total end goal, but produce more authentically. And that authentic production is what is healing to us, and it's healing to the world, and it brings in our special and unique beauty. As all of the tags on all of my pieces say, you are a divine original, and each piece I make is a divine original, just like each person. So I love that you're here. I'm going to stop blithering on for now. Do not forget thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. I really do want to get to 1,000. 'Tis my dream. I think one day it might happen. And please go to thesamanthawilde.com and go to the weaving shop. You can see this beautiful scarf. It is light. It is just like, I don't know. I just loved the pattern of this fabric, so I couldn't cut it into strips and make it into weaving because I loved it too much. And this piece is available, but not yet in the shop. So if you're interested, you can always send a query to me at sam@thesamanthawilde.com. Each of the beautiful shells and sea pieces were plucked off the beach on Nantucket Island. Well, I hope that you have a very wonderful, artistic, creative day. Thanks for being here.